Facebook Live. What is up, party people? Hope all is well with you. And we are here for another day, looking at the days ahead. Facebook Live. I'm excited today to hopefully to talk about small businesses. We had my man Chris Duncan, and we also have Adrian Han. Not Adrian Han. I'm sorry, Adrian Sherwood. That's going to be coming on, just talking about the difference in small businesses and entrepreneurs. And since we have a few entrepreneurs in, we're just going to be able to get a chance to engage with them and just get different perspectives. So I'm really excited about the opportunity for them. And I think they're going to be joining in a couple of minutes, but just giving us some opportunity and some time to just get to say what's up to everybody, all the people out there, getting ready, adjusting to the new normal. It seems like this new normal is happening a lot quicker than I anticipated. So I don't even know if I don't even know if some people knew that we were in quarantine, tell you the truth. Because if you go in the Beltline, you go in at the Old Fourth Ward Park, you was just like, does anybody know that we're in quarantine? Maybe they never knew. They just thought that jobs were giving a generous discount, being generous, but just saying, hey, we need to work remotely, but don't worry about anything else because they have been out chilling. They have been out chilling on the Beltline, but it's good. It's fun. I am excited about today. So really today, whether, small businesses being able, like moving the days ahead, you're an entrepreneur, today is for you, looking at those things, even if you're looking in order to do it. So we have Chris Duncan, who is an entrepreneur extraordinaire. And then we also have Adrian Sherwood, who is going to be joining us today. So we're also excited. It's good to see everybody. And by the way, Adrian does real estate, and so she is this, it's like an entrepreneur. I love Adrian because she's both an entrepreneur on the ministry side and the business side. She has both sides of it, starting up companies like, FCA Soccer, and then also seeing what she's done with her real estate. So we're just really excited, about that. And so, yes, Derwin, what's up, man? Derwin says, I feel like shepherding my family is like running a small business. Yes. My family is actually like, if we count the employee rate and, family business, yeah, we definitely have a lot. So we are excited. So we got Chris, Maurice, what's up, man? How you're doing well? Patsy, everybody. Hope you guys are all doing well. Matthew, what's up? Sam Dula, what's up? What's up? What's up? And there he goes. I knew I was just waiting for the backdrop. I was waiting for the background. I was like, okay, what is my brother Chris gonna do? Like I knew it was gonna be, stylish. So you got to tell me what's behind you, brother. It's the Bayou or BU?
So
Okay.
you can't really see because I'm on my desktop, but it's a picture that my boy did of me. And so this is my home office. Shout out to Elder Rob with my bass amp sitting over here.
There it is. Okay.
And my quarantine is popping. You see the disinfectant.
Yes.
Yeah, so I can't open up the windows in my home office or the blinds in my home office because birds fly into my window all day. I wish I could be on I care about the birds. It literally scares me every single time.
Hey, that's real because, I'm here at the church and literally, I don't know if the COVID-19 got the birds going crazy, but like I'm in here on a consistent and birds are just flying into the windows. Like it is like, boom. Weird. Like I just hear like, and it just like, I hear it. It has happened at least once every other day. And it's kind of scaring me.
It's kind of scaring me. Man. Like, yeah. I want to be a thug and be like, oh, it don't even bother me. No, I jump every single time.
That is hilarious. That is hilarious. All right. So, man, let's go ahead and just jump in, man. I really appreciate you jumping on and even being passionate about this subject matter because today we're going to be talking about just like the days ahead. We've been talking about the days ahead and specifically from an entrepreneur, artist, like extraordinary. Like, first of all, what do you consider yourself,
I consider myself a creative that is multidisciplined. That's the easiest way. I don't really know. But yeah, a lot. I do a little bit of everything, enough to be dangerous.
Oh, I love it. You said a creative that is multidisciplined. Hey, whenever you use conjugated words like that, that just sounds like that are not in the everyday vocabulary, then it's
Yeah,
just kind of like you know what you talk about. So, brother, I am with you, and I am appreciative of your
I'm trying to.
creativity and your multidisciplinedness. In what you're doing. So, okay, explain to the people what like some of the disciplines that make you multi.
Yeah. Yeah, so I own a clothing line called Honor Roll Clothing. It is godly next month after next, we turn 10. So that's major. I own Threshold, which is my quote unquote day job, my everyday day job, which is a creative marketing studio. And essentially, we just help clients develop what to say, when to say, and who to say it to.
Okay. Okay.
My background is in digital marketing. I have worked for marketing agencies. I work client side with AT&T, and client side just means I work for one person versus an agency where I have multiple clients in one space. I'm definitely an agency guy. I love working with multiple people. I love working with grassroots clients. And even that is trusting God, because typically grassroots clients don't have money. They're just getting started. They don't even understand how this thing works. So using the bigger checks to compensate for me being able to provide free services.
Okay, because I was just going to ask you about that. Just kind of what you said, how you distinguish and differentiate it. Use like, this is my day job. So is the day job and the difference from the other things based upon like how much money's coming in or how much time you give? Like, how do you distinguish between that?
Oh man, it's tough. Well, one, because of the money, absolutely. Okay. With Honor Roll, I have two other partners. It's a slow grind of building this thing up, because we did about 4 years ago, we made a major brand shift. We went from, we changed our model completely. So everything that was profitable for us at that time, we switched up. We took a year and a half off. So, we say that we're turning 10, but technically we're about 4 years old with this new brand. So, that's good. And that is more of a process. Threshold is literally, I have my office set up when I can go to my office again. I have my office set up. I have space. I bring clients in for that.
Who needs an office when you got birds running into your window and a BU sign right behind you? Who needs offices?
You can't see Leilani. My daughter has one too. She's over there. So I don't want you all to think. Matter of fact, I'm going to switch them out, because since I'm doing so many conference calls, I don't want people to feel like I'm being arrogant. So I'm going to switch out and have Leilani.
No. Be you. That's what I'm saying. Like you can't be codependent and be you. You know what I'm saying? Let's make sure that we're keeping everything 100. Now, I do want to just kind of we got about 5 minutes, so want to just kind of get from you, like, what are the things that as you move ahead, Georgia is about to be, not about to, it is reopened. I don't even know if some people knew that we was on quarantine, but like it is about to be reopened. For you as a small business owner, an entrepreneur, or a multi-disciplined creative, like what are some things that you're considering in this new COVID-19 pandemic?
Yeah, one thing I keep chatting with clients about is understanding their new normal. And even though it may be confusing times, have to be made, and it's okay. Mm-hmm. That if you're married to the way that you do things, you're going to divorce the actual results that you want. Mm-hmm. And so literally going through and reevaluating, is this the smartest way for me to do business? One thing that I have been talking to colleagues about in this season is, do we need the office spaces? Do we need the teams? Because we're responsible for people's livelihoods right now. Yeah. And that's a pressure, and that goes into even the mental health that I see a lot of my friends dealing with right now. Mm-hmm. I had to figure out a way to make payroll. Mm-hmm. And so just really evaluating, why are you doing what you're doing? And is there a smarter way? Are you doing it to keep up with other people and images? Or are you really doing it because this is what you're called to do? This is your passion.
Yeah. Yeah. And so you said you've been doing this with businesses. Like who What type of businesses are you working with? What are some of the problems that you're seeing a current problem that you're seeing happening in the midst of this?
Yeah, right now my clients are one of my clients is a private jet chartering service, so that's pretty much done. He switched though. He switched his model up to doing cargo, so he was shipping in all of the masks and gloves and all that. Another one is event based. It's a conference, and we definitely have to totally dismantle that.
Yeah.
Initially she was like, well, no, we can still have the conference. It's going to be in July. And this is back last month. I was like, no, it's done because everybody has to shift. You got that date because it was 6 months out. Everyone's shifting. So that 6 month date is done.
Yeah.
And so, and then just other clothing brands. And yeah, that's pretty much. And I got a consultant that I work with too. So just talking them through, you have to go. Like right now is such a pivotal time for brand awareness. Standing in front of your clients, telling them why you do what you do, not trying to do the hard sell, because right now money is such a funny thing. For some people, they're holding on to it. For other people, spending like crazy. So trying to find out where you need to be in that space.
Okay, so that's good. So the first thing is understanding a new normal, right? Like forcing yourself to ask yourself, why are you doing what you're doing, right? Being able to do it. And are there better ways to do it? Okay, what else do you got? What are some other things to consider?
I'm a big fan of the 5 W's: who, what, when, where, why, how. And the reason why I say that is if a business actually steps back from the day-to-day and evaluates those 5 W's, they can actually be the most effective. And the why dictates the how every single time. It dictates the what. Why are you doing what you're doing? Oh, well, for money, for God, or I'm made this way. And so because I'm made this way, now I can dictate how I'm about to go around doing things, who I'm going to actually affect. And it's just like the aims with the church, being a generous steward with your time, talent, and treasures. And I understand that everybody their occupation isn't their passion. Trust me, I get that. But I'm speaking to small business owners right now. And most small business owners start a business because they were passionate about it.
So talking about that, because a lot of times passion drives, especially small business owners, people who are doing what they do. But what I've found is that oftentimes people who are passionate about something are very particular about what they're passionate for, and they don't like to change it. They like their delivery system, and so when they have to deliver, let's just say, a less inferior product because now of COVID-19 pandemic, how do you overcome some of those obstacles and barriers?
Know that you're not what you produce. Yeah. And the same way I would tell anybody that works for a company, a corporate, a corporation, whatever, that you are not just a number. You are there on purpose. You are there during this time. And literally, even if you have to dial back, talk to your clients, talk to your customers, talk to your consumers, and actually connect with them. This is a time that the world is on pause, or it was on pause, except for the Beltline. And this is a time that you can actually sit down with your customers and ask them questions and give them a true connect on a heart level instead of just on a product level.
Man, that's what's up. Chris, are you going to be around for a little bit? Are you going to stay on for the rest of until about 11:30?
Yeah, I'm going to make some vegan French toast in the background, but you don't need me to be on video, right?
No. But what I would love for you to do, because there may be an opportunity at the end around 11:25 or so to come back if people have questions for you. And I may ask you to jump on or even do it on the chat. So, man, I appreciate you, man. These are some good things. Understand the new normal. Ask yourself the 5 W's. And I love what you just said. Know that you're not what you produce. And all that. But there may be some more. I know you got some more nuggets, some more things. Gotta get ready for Adrian. But man, come stay on. If you got comments or questions for Chris, he'll be in the chat. But then we also may bring you back on in about at 11:25. So stay close.
I got you.
All right, brother. Appreciate you.
All right. No worries. Thank you. Bye.
So what we see is, brothers like Chris who are creative, multidisciplined people that is able to do that. And now Adrian is going to be coming on, is going to be more focusing on like her focus is kind of in, specifically, and I'm drawing a blank, but you guys understand what I'm saying. Real estate. And so what she is doing is, I think, is a little different, kind of focused in, and her business is affected in a little different ways. If you have questions or comments, please put them in the screen. This is a time for you, whether you're a part of a small business, you own a small business, you work for a small business, that this is a time for us to kind of plan for the days ahead, specifically around the COVID-19 virus. And so I am also, just going to Jessica says, he lost me at the vegan French toast. Yes, he lost me too. That's why I didn't even comment on there. But what are some of the comments or questions that you guys have as we wait for Adrian to come on? It doesn't seem like you guys have many, but please put your questions and your comments in the screen. And then both, whether it's for Adrian or for Chris, we'll just be able to talk about it. So we have Adrian Sherwood, my neighbor. She is here.
That's right.
What is up? Your screen is not on. I can't. There she goes. There we
go.
She is our neighbor. She is also the one who has helped us find our new home. She is, I have such respect for Adrian. She is one of the first people who really have bought into the vision, of Blueprint Church. I remember when we first bought the property here, and here on 475 Boulevard. And, literally she just was like, I'm going to live right next to the church. And so for how many years have you been living on Rankin?
That was 6 years ago.
6 years ago. I mean, we've only been here for like 6-7 years, so it couldn't have been. So it's just kind of like, and so she is there. She, for a long time, was the closest person who lived in the church, but she has now been one-upped, so now she's incrementally trying to come closer, to the church. And so it's been great. But I've had so much respect for you, Adrian, just over the years, going from all the way starting up the FCA soccer from scratch. So from on the ministry side, doing that, and then now kind of making that transition to, to what you're doing as what's the appropriate term for what you call yourself? I keep saying real estate, but like, what is the appropriate?
So I'm a realtor. So a lot of people say, here's a little branding lesson. A lot of people say realtor, but there's actually not an A, so it's realtor.
Okay.
So I'm a realtor, small business owner. I have a brokerage that I work for, but I own my own S Corp, and I'm a small business owner as well.
Okay. So how did you first make that shift? Going from someone that was doing full-time ministry to making that shift. How scary was it? Like what were some of the things that you had to do to make that shift?
Yeah, good question. A lot of prayer and talking to people that I respected and loved, people that had been in the business world as well as in the ministry world. Lee Jenkins pretty well. He had come from a business background and then gone into ministry. Talking to him by doing the opposite. Okay, I've been in ministry. I've always been told that I'd be good in business. And so talking to people, and just kind of getting the practical steps of like, okay, what would this look like? Like, what's the one foot in front of the other type thing? And it was scary. I think for me specifically, I had been always going to Christian schools. I went to a Christian high school, Christian college, then went straight into ministry. So for me, it was kind of the first time I had stepped out into the secular world, as far as being not being a professional Christian anymore. So I think I had a lot of identity struggles with that. Do I love God less because I'm not a full-time Christian in ministry and I'm doing business now? So I've wrestled with those things, but the first year in real estate was tough. I had a pretty quote unquote successful first year. I think they say 80% of realtors quit in the first year. So I was like, it was rough. People would ask me, how do you like it? And I would say, ask me next year. I'm paying my dues now so that I can answer that a little differently next year. And it's become true, and I've really, really enjoyed it.
How long?
I just finished my third year.
Okay. So you're in year 3. You just finished year 3. So you're in year 4. All right.
Correct.
So how has the COVID-19 pandemic, how have you been thinking about it? How have you shifted your focus? What has been the impact of that as a small business owner?
Yeah. first it was like, oh my gosh, what is happening? What are we going to do? So some shock and some grief, I think, as far as just like trying to find this new normal. The brokerage I work for is Keller Williams, and they've been incredibly quick and innovative to say, okay, we're not going to sit back on our laurels. We're going to train our agents and keep everybody fresh for this shift. So I think, but then also a lot of uncertainty. It's like, okay, you know, of course things shut down for 2 weeks and then it becomes a month and then school's out for the rest of the year. So things are literally changing in real time.
Yeah.
So you ask me now and then it might look different in a week, but you know, ultimately for me, it's all comes down to lead generation. So I try to stay in touch with my sphere, stay in touch with the people that I've been cultivating relationship with them for a long time now. I do about 3 or 4 home buyers classes a year. So a lot of my leads come from people that I've been talking to for over a year now. So for me, I haven't seen a slow in my clientele, even despite coronavirus, but I know a lot of my colleagues have.
Yeah. So what would be some of the principles that you would give people? Or, you know, you said you've been learning, Keller Williams was on point. We're giving some things to making sure that you guys stayed and was able to shift quickly. What are some pointers that you would give to people as they are thinking about the days ahead?
Yeah, you know, it's hard because there's a lot of people that are independent contractors or small business owners, and our industries are all impacted differently based on, you know, the shutdown. With real estate being considered essential service, we were able to stay open and go out. That may not be a luxury that everybody has. But I think, you know, trim the fat wherever you can. You know, look at your budget, look at your projections for 2020 and say, okay, if they're only half of that, how do we survive? How do we keep people, you know, on payroll? I do have one assistant, and I've worked, you know, very hard to try to keep her working with me because I know that her family depends on it. Yeah. So trim the fat, I think, is one principle as well. You know, coming from the nonprofit world, Hadi, like I kind of already run my business on like very minimal expenses. But if you are someone who doesn't, maybe definitely that would be one thing. Another thing I think is just like get creative. Like I've been so impressed with how creative my industry has gotten. Like we literally have drive-by closings. Like we call them curbside closings because people literally stay in their car, come to the attorney's office, and like the attorney comes out with like a sanitized pen and a board and says like, here's how you sign. So yeah, I would say just get creative. I mean, there's tools that I'm using now for my business that I wondered, why didn't I use this before? So that would probably be the second principle. And kind of piggyback on that would just be like, don't see problems, see opportunity. I think opportunity in spite of all of this, you know, people are home. So, you know, for me, my tagline for my business is your partner in home ownership. Okay, so people are home. What can I do to help people think about how to make their space better while they're in quarantine? So yeah, I think just, you know, seeing it as opportunity and really trying to just serve the people that you do always, but just treat people, you know, how you would want to be treated.
That's good. Oh, this is really good. I love it when you talk about be creative and see opportunities. Like, you know, I love the kind of the focus on kind of what you're doing. And when you even another when you talk about trimming the fat, one of the things that I've constantly recommended, even as a church, you know, from kind of the corporation side of it, is like we're asking the question: what are the fixed costs? Like, what are the non-avoidable costs? You know, and what costs are discretionary that we could cut? You know, obviously, it's not going to be, to some of them, not advantageous, but we could cut it because it is discretionary. You know, and being able to do that. And so I think that is something that is great. So I love kind of what you're doing. How has this impacted like your work rhythms? I know having a child, a husband, all those things. Like, how are you maintaining that tension?
I like not well. I'll put it like that. It's been tough. My son is 5 months old now, and so even if my husband's taking care of him and it's my work time, like I can hear him. And as you have experienced moms just can't like block out their kids quite like dads tend to. So that's been tough. My car has become my workplace, like in the driveway, like I will literally be in my drive in my car working.
Yeah.
So it's been tough, but ultimately I'm, there are, again, trying to see opportunity is like, I get more time with my son and my husband as a result of this, even if it's sometimes a little hectic, but I think the other thing I wanted to add to Hadi was, I think it's super important to think long-term right now. Of course, none of us know what the future holds. Like, we hear all kinds of theories, but, especially when it comes to my business, it's like you've got to pay to live somewhere. Do you want to pay to rent, or do you want to pay to own? And so I just think thinking long-term, like, okay, one day this will be quote unquote over. And when it is over, what will I want to look back on that time and wish that I had worked towards so that I can throw when I'm in the new season.
That's great. I love that. So again, what Adrian said, cut costs, get creative, see opportunities, and think long-term. Adrian, thank you. Thank you for being with us. I appreciate it. Nuggets, dropping them. Love it.
Thank you, Hadi. I appreciate you.
Cool. All right. So you guys have, we've been dropping dimes, both Chris and Adrian, right? Chris basically saying, understand the new normal, like, why are you doing what you are doing? He talked about ask yourself those 5 W's in the H, like who, what, when, where, why, and how. He talked about know that you are not your product, but basically what you produce. So, that was great nuggets from him. Adrian basically said, get creative, don't cut costs, don't see problems, but see opportunities. Think long-term, and I think that because we don't know what the future holds. Everybody has an opinion. We just don't know. And it just impacts us all in different ways. And so I think this is really, really helpful. Good nuggets, good resources for us to have. What are some questions that you guys may have? We have a few more minutes. What are some things that you have? Like specifically, the church is technically, it's a small business from a government standpoint. And even though we understand that the church is not a business, it's family, but it also has some corporation things. And like even Pastor Derwin said, is like having a small family can be a business, especially when you have 6 children. So we just need to recognize that. So some of the things that I'm just thinking about is like, we're trying to create a place where we can constantly keep our staff. So it's really, really important that we kind of understand what are the payroll costs for us. And, we have staff, right? So the first question that we're constantly thinking about is, what are the fixed costs? What are the fixed costs? What are the non-avoidable costs that we have? And then, after you do that, the second one is, what are the discretionary costs? What are the things that we can cut? What are some of those things? Then you have to think of like, what has kind of been the new normal? Like, take an assessment. We've been in this for about 5 weeks now. Obviously, it doesn't mean it's going to predict the next, but we have a good understanding of kind of where we are. So be able to understand, like, this is where we are. This is kind of what our expenses are. This is what our income is. So just kind of be able to work through that as well. And then also just think, I love what Adrian said, think for the long term. Constantly create a virtual and online, like, what can we do virtually? What can we do online? Consistently think about creating minimum cost. I think that's going to be so critical for us as we think about this moving forward. But what are some questions that you guys have? What are some thoughts that you guys have as it relates to the days ahead? For those who are either working for small businesses, own the small businesses, that you have 1 or 2 employees, we understand the stimulus package, all of those things. But what are some things that you guys, some other advice, some other things? There's been some great wisdom on here from both Chris and Adrian that we have. And so let's look. So Cindy, what's up? It is always good to see you on here. Erica, what's up, Erica? Cornerstone in the house. Erica Brown, love you. Hope you are doing well. Tell LB I said what's up. Tell Jackson, tell everybody, tell the fam I said what's up. Angie Price, what is up? Rob, Elder Rob is on here. My beautiful wife jumping in, not too late, but she is on here. It is good to see you. Holly, yes, they did do a good job. Great advice. I don't see much comments on here. So I guess we just did an excellent job. I'm a positive thinker. I'm a positive thinker. So, if you guys don't give comments, I just think that we are just answering the questions. You don't like, they're so thorough that you guys just don't need. You don't need any more clarification. So yes, Texas is in the house. A great need for prayer too. Yes, that is a great, great, great thing, especially as Christian businesses. It's sad that it's like, and prayer. No, it's not a tag on prayer, prayer, prayer. Like, we got to make sure that we're asking the Lord for guidance in this season, because, he is the same yesterday, today, and forever. And just like we've been talking about, the bottom line with all of this is that when you recognize who you are in Christ, the context can change. And even though context matters, who you are is the foundation. And that's the way that you are able to kind of create consistency in the midst of an inconsistent world. So as believers, our identity, gospel-centered believers, responsible siblings, indigenous disciple makers, and generous steward. I don't care what's going on, whether it's COVID-19, whether it's 9/11, whether it's whatever tragedies, circumstances that our identities as believers never change. And so we got to put on that grid. As we are engaging, that we are, to understand our identity in Christ, and that we are to be fluent in the gospel. We are to understand that we are not like a family, but we are family, that we are to be good neighbors as indigenous disciple makers, and we are to use all of our time, talent, and treasures to fulfill God's purposes. God's purposes has not changed, even in the midst of COVID-19. So I really do want to encourage that. So thank you, Angie, for always giving us, pulling me back and making sure that we always keep that perspective. Angie said, I care deeply for my kids, so I know the Lord is certainly better than that. Amen. Amen. So creative consistency. Yes, Cindy, creative consistency. All right, you guys, I love you. I appreciate you. Tomorrow, Feelings Friday, we got Chip Dodd. We're going to talk about the idea of feelings as we even anticipate the future. Like, how does that impact us, in the days moving ahead with all the different things that are taking place. All right. We love you guys. We appreciate you. And, we'll keep lifting up prayers. Hey, if there's subjects or there's topics that you guys want to discuss, put them in the chat. Let us know. Put them in the chat. Let us know kind of how we can, how I can better serve, how we can do. I'm doing this for you. I'm also doing this for me. I enjoy it, but I'm also doing it for you. I want to be able to talk about things that you guys are passionate about, that you guys need. So let's talk. Let's talk. Blueprint Church. We are Blueprint. So we love you guys. Appreciate you. God bless you, and we'll see you later.